I remember way back, 2003, January, when I joined Toastmasters. 6 months later, I found myself as the club president. Now, that's not unusual. People do that. And the day that I was elected, one of the old fellows in the club, and he was really old, I mean, he was older than me. He came up to me and he shook a craggy finger in my face. And he said, "Alan, remember this. As the executive goes, so the club goes. Think about it." And he walked on. He didn't say another thing to me that year. But his message was not only clear, it was very strongly received. I took that message to the first executive meeting. We realized as a group that indeed we did hold the key to the success of the club. We were the ones that were going to set the course. We weren't going to run everything, but we were going to set the course and show the speed that the club was going to go. There is a saying in Toastmasters which I think is incredibly important. I'll probably mention it several times this morning. Every Toastmaster deserves to belong to a distinguished club. So when you set your course as an executive member and as an executive in its entirety, you do so with that in mind. So you people have the opportunity of actually increasing and enhancing the experience of the individual Toastmasters in your club. So it's not only a challenge and a responsibility, it's a huge opportunity. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for stepping up. You people are going to be absolutely key to the success of your club and all the other levels as we go forward this year. When we think about the district and we think about Toastmasters in general, it's a bit like an inverted triangle, with the important people at the top to the bottom, where there are some important people, but they are few. So you can see the most important people in Toastmasters are the club members. It's all about the club member experience. If you hear me saying this over and over again, it's because I want you to know this message, that our goal, our role as club officers is to make sure that each member has a really positive Toastmaster experience. And the level below that are the clubs. So the clubs, obviously, are the ones that support the members. Then it goes, as we've just seen here, into areas, divisions, which are a larger geographic area, and districts. So we're all a part of a club, we're a part of an area and a division, but every single person in this room is in District 21. And we want to focus this morning on where we are as a district. Because the most important part here is if the clubs are successful, if you're successful as a club, it filters down beautifully so that areas, divisions, district will be successful. There is absolutely no way at all that the district can be successful unless clubs are successful. So our focus is on the clubs. If you're successful, then all the layers going down, areas, divisions, district will be successful. Going back to when I first joined Toastmasters in 2003, District 21 at that time was in a huge growth spurt. We had many new clubs. 15, 20 new clubs came into the district that year that I joined. All the clubs had lots and lots of members. It was just a very strong situation in terms of the district itself. 2 years later, that was manifested in 2004, 2005, when District 21 was ranked third in the world. We were a President's Distinguished District, and we were third in the world. There was a buzz around the place. It was very, very exciting. Over the years, District 21 has continued to do well. It's had its ups and downs. But in the last little while, last few years, we've started into a bit of a downward trend. And that downward trend has continued over a period of time. Now, I want to say this and make sure that everybody understands this. When I'm talking about District 21, I'm talking about all clubs. I know that there are some wonderful clubs, outstanding clubs. There's some very good areas and divisions. But I'm talking about the district right now as a whole is in a downward trend. And what we want to do is to look at that aspect of things. Who is this gentleman?
Ted Corcoran.
Ted Corcoran. When did we see him recently? Where? At the conference. At the spring conference, Ted Corcoran was the keynote speaker. Ted is a wonderful man. He's a past international president. He was a district director in Ireland. Dublin, Ireland is where he comes from. His district is District 71. Very interestingly, District 71, over the last 2 decades and more, since the early 90s, has been distinguished every single year except for one. That, ladies and gentlemen, is incredible, because they focus on their clubs and the success of their clubs. District 21, in comparison, we've been distinguished in the last 10 years 3 times. Now, at the conference, after I was elected as district director, Ted came up to me and said, I'm going to be around on Monday. If you'd like to have a chat with me about things, I'd be happy to do that. Well, I wasn't going to turn down an opportunity like that. So I was delighted to have 3 hours with Ted. And we went through a whole raft of things. And at the end of that 3 hours, I thought, this is not enough. We need more than this. So I asked him if he would be the mentor for the district trio for this year. I said, I know that we need some help. We're all new to our roles. We need some help. And he said, Alan, you're quite right. You need a lot of help. And I'll be happy to give it to you. So since that time, Ted has been on Skype with us on several occasions, and he's the one who's helped to design what we're doing today. He's the one who's helped us design what we're going to be doing as we move through the year, because he's been there. He's done it. He knows what he's doing. We went to someone who had the track record. One of the things that Ted said is you really need to know where you are. You can't do anything as a district until you know exactly where you are at this moment. It's a bit like going to the doctor and you find out about your blood pressure and your cholesterol and whatever else. You get a checkup, you get the results, and then you adjust your life accordingly. And in this way, what he's saying is you look carefully at where you are and you adjust your goals and the direction you take accordingly. So when we look at the world of Toastmasters, and it really is amazing, it's an international organization. It's in 120 countries and more, over 330,000 Toastmasters around the world. And it's divided up into regions. You can see most of the regions are here in North America, regions 1 to 10, and the other regions, there are a total of 14, are spread around the world. We're in region 1, tucked up in this corner here. And that includes states of Utah, Colorado, Washington State, BC, a large region of the northwestern United States and Canada. Now, if you want to find out where you are, it's pretty simple. And Ted took us there. He took us to the dashboard. How many know where the dashboard is? How many of you actually go to the dashboard on a regular basis? I would strongly recommend as club officers this year that you get into the habit of doing that, because it'll give you an idea, a clear idea of what's happening with your club. So when you go to Toastmasters.org, which is the Toastmasters International website, and you log in, and you need your Toastmasters number as the username, create your password, and then you go to Leadership Central. And when you get into Leadership Central, it will provide you with distinguished performance reports. Now this one is probably small for you at the back, so I'll just give you an idea of what this is. This looks a bit daunting, but after a while it's okay. This is Region 1. Region 1 is the region I was just mentioning, made up of 7 different districts. So we look down and we see District 21, and we look across to membership payments, this is as of June 23rd, a couple of days ago, and we can see that for this year, we're down by 4.78% over last year. So we are losing members. We go to club growth, and we can see our base at the beginning of the year, July the 1st, 2015, we were at 162 clubs. At the present time, we're down to 146 clubs. We have lost 16 clubs so far this year. We hope one or two may be revived before June 30th, so that we are down in the region of 12 to 15, but that's the reality of where we are, or where we were 2 days ago. So that's the club growth area. The distinguished clubs, you can see here, that District 21 has 31% of its clubs distinguished, which is the lowest in the region, but we're not far behind. It's not as though we're miles behind by any means. The distinguished club area, we tend to do reasonably well in. The difficult statistic with this is that Region 1 is the lowest region in the world. So we're really near the bottom of the lowest region. Let's have a clearer idea of where we are now in District 21. This is an easier picture for you to see. So paid clubs, again, we started with 146. We started with 162, and we're now down to 146. If we were going to be a distinguished district this year, we would have needed to wind up this year with 167. We would have needed to have an increase of 3% or 5 clubs. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. You can see the same thing with the payments. The base for 5,700. Right now we're sitting at 5,400. We needed 5,800 to be distinguished. These two things have to be in place. Just the same as the DCP, you have to have at least 20 members, or if you're below 15, a net growth of 5. Otherwise, your DCP points don't count. In fact, I was looking yesterday evening, and see if I've got the stat right here. There were 44 clubs who had the right number, more than enough points to be distinguished, but they didn't have the number of members they needed. So that's an issue, a real issue for us. And this is the distinguished club area here. So far we have 51 distinguished clubs out of 146 in reality. We needed 65 to be distinguished. Let's look at that one for a moment. 51 out of 146. 53, thank you. All right, as of today, we're going up. 53 out of 146. It's a little more than a third. So if our goal is to have every Toastmaster enjoying the opportunity of being in a distinguished club, we have an awful lot of clubs right now that are not distinguished. But where does that stack us up with the rest of the world? How do we fit in with the rest of the world? And how does it compare with a group like Ted's group, District 71? Well, there are two charts that are on the TI website. Give us a really good idea around the membership area. One is districts with the highest percent of clubs with 20 plus members. And when you've got 20 members, there's no question it's a different situation. That's a healthy club. Personally, I like to see a club that I'm in 25 or 30 because it makes it really a thriving club at that time. But 20 makes sure that you're healthy. When you look at this, and you look at the top, you see Ted's district here, District 71, have 79% of their clubs with 20 plus members. We go down the list and we come to position 92 out of 99, and we find District 21 with 32%. So we have 32% compared to. Now you see, when the clubs start to, this District 21 here, when the District 21 starts to move up, you'll find it's completely different. It's going to change things hugely when you get many more clubs with 20 plus more members. In my opinion, if we were able to hit 50% in this coming year, that will be a huge step forward for us, and we will be getting right on track. The other one that do is the districts with the highest net growth, with basically that's referring to clubs, the net growth or loss of clubs. Ted's district are +7. They're always plus. They're always growing. Now, sometimes people will say to me, well, you know, it's different now. People are very busy and they can't get to club meetings, and they've got this going on and that going on. But you know what? My wife and I were in Ireland 2 years ago. It's not very different from here. Demographically, socioeconomically, it's not very different. In fact, Ireland, Southern Ireland, where Ted lives, there's lots of rural areas there. Not huge centres. But they get new clubs every year. Every year, without fail. There's absolutely no reason why we can't. And if we go down to the bottom of the list, we see District 21 is 96th. Actually, we're sharing second to bottom place with minus 16 clubs at the present time. This is not a pretty picture. Anybody okay with this picture? All of us want to belong to a really good organization. I understand that within your clubs, you're having a lot of success. You're having fun. I went to a club meeting this past Wednesday evening, and it was just such a joy to be there. There were 31 people in that room. There was a buzz in the room. They were doing their end-of-year awards, and two of the people who would receive the awards made this statement. I love this club. Wednesday evenings is my special night of the week. You know, that's what we want Toastmasters to be. And we don't want to be in a situation where that picture is not pretty. Now, I understand that. Clubs are successful, but there are a number of clubs who aren't. At the present time, we are somewhere in the region of 44 clubs out of 146 that have 12 or fewer members. Yikes. That's really difficult. Really difficult. And we need to work together. It's not, oh, well, tough beans. You've got 12 or fewer. No, as stronger clubs and as areas and divisions, we need to support these people to allow them to have that membership experience that we all want. So what's our problem? What's our underlying basic problem?
Membership.
Membership. Membership, membership, membership. And our solution is to do what? Focus on membership. Absolutely. It's all about membership. The interesting thing is, and I'll ask this question of all of you, please raise your hands high if Toastmasters has been a powerful, positive influence in your life. Thank you. Please lay your hands. I think every single hand in this room went up. Why are we having a problem with membership? How is that possible when it's such an important part of our lives? How is that possible? I believe there are two things, just two things, that can help every single club as far as membership is concerned. Number one, focus on our product. What is our product?
Meetings.
The club meetings. When people come to see what Toastmasters is about, they come to the club meetings. And when they're in that club meeting, they're going to get an impression. If it's fun, if it's exciting, if it's well organized, if there's a good number of people there, why wouldn't they join? They can see what it means to the people. But if they go there and it's disorganized and it's really quite boring and there are no speakers, no prepared speakers, and there's a handful of people, really, why would they come back? So we know that we have to work with smaller clubs to support them through those situations. But every club, regardless of its size, can make sure that their club meeting is worthwhile, that it is of a high quality. Focus on our product. That's the first thing. The second thing, we need to have a strategy. As a club, you need to have a membership building strategy. It's that simple. There's an array of things, but you choose. Interesting, I was talking recently to Margaret Page, who's the international director over our region. And she was saying that Toastmasters International have done a series of studies around the best way to build membership, to get new members. Do you know what the best way is right now? something very simple. That's it. Open houses. Open houses. I belong to a club, an advanced club, where membership building is a different animal there. But we have two open houses a year, one in the fall, one in the spring, and consistently we get 4 to 6 to 8 new members every time we have an open house. That's our strategy. It doesn't have to be yours, but that's one strategy. So have a strategy. Make sure you look after your product and have a strategy. Who knows what this picture is? District 21, Distinguished District 2012-2013. This is a picture of District 21 people at the International Convention in Cincinnati in 2013, the last time that District 21 was distinguished. The interesting thing at the International Convention, who's been to an international convention? Not many, and it's not unusual. It's wonderful. It really is something that it's great experience for you to go to something like that. So what happens at the Hall of Fame ceremonies there is that every district that is distinguished goes on the stage and they're presented with this banner over here. So all of these people here are District 21 people. There are about 20 of them, and that makes sense because it was in Cincinnati. It's expensive to get there. Well, I'm thinking in my mind, wouldn't it be great if we couldn't look at the membership side of things and adjust that? Because if we were to adjust it, District 21 could comfortably be distinguished in 2016, 2017. Where will the International Conference or Convention be held in 2017? Vancouver. That happens once every quarter century or whatever. It won't happen again in my lifetime. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us. So bear this in mind. We could, everybody in this room could, in August 2017, be on the stage at the International Convention with our banner. Who's in for that? Who's in for that? That's great. But we have work to do. And the work is needing to be done at the clubs. Forget, it's nothing to do with the district being successful. That's the outcome of the success of the clubs. The clubs are successful, it'll filter down beautifully from there.